All right, we're live. Yeah, for sure.
Welcome everyone to our unknown number at this point, TAN Council recurring meeting. It must be coming up to 30 or so. Anyway, we'll find out for next time. For today's meeting, we'll have a look at our current TANIP, and we'll discuss that a bit, and then we'll have our usual open discussion. Firstly, however, let's start with an overview of the TAN Council and the purpose of these recurring meetings. These recurring meetings serve 5 critical functions. Firstly, they provide transparency to our community. They also create a structured forum for proposal discussions, enabling authors to present to the council and community and to discuss, debate and refine for formal proposal and voting with consensus. They enable regular platform updates. They ensure consistent communication amongst council members. And finally, they allow direct community engagement through question and answer sessions. The TAN Council is a local governance organisation within the Telcoin platform. Together, we serve as a provider and administrator of collective goods and services within the jurisdictional domain of the Telcoin Application Network, or TAN. The TAN Council, with our 6 members, makes decisions related to TAN improvements and policies through the TANIP process. We need 5 out of 6 votes to approve proposals within a 120-hour voting period. Our primary duties are, firstly, to allocate TEL issuance on TAN for stakers and developers to harvest, and secondly, plan and finance the development of the Telcoin application network. Our key responsibilities include reviewing and voting on snapshot proposals, attending these bi-weekly meetings, providing regular community updates, monitoring TAN systems, and enforcing operational rules. We use Discord and Slack for day-to-day communication, the forum for informal proposal discussions, these recurring council meetings for proposal discussions, deliberation and refinement, and snapshot for formal voting. Overall, the TAN Council has authority over minor harvesting and planning and financing TAN infrastructure. Okay, so we'll jump straight into the current TANIP, which is live on the forums. So that is the TEL issuance rebate. So this is kind of a next step in TANIP 1, which was activating TEL issuance at the application layer for stakers. So the proposal went out, I think, just after last meeting, and we've had a bit of feedback on it, which has mostly been positive. There's just been there was one question which I wanted to answer really, and that was around having an example for this. So Ty asked, might be good to show a worked example using wallet A, who makes trade, pays fees, and then wallet B, the referrer. So there's no confusion and misunderstanding. Absolutely. And I'd like to kind of run us through that now, and then with the aim of posting that in as an answer to the forum a bit later. It's been a bit hectic at the end of the year now, a few kind of deadlines looming and stuff, so haven't managed to write it out in full yet, but that should be on its way soon. And then the second part of Ty's question there refers to kind of the yearly TAN budget and how much was budgeted for TANIP 1 and where we are now, and all of that. So that is basically going to come out in the wash. So one of our big deadlines now is doing the accounts for both the association and the TAL. So we are working on this stuff, and we will have it pretty soon. So it's a good point, and we should do kind of a full overview and look back over the year once we have all of those numbers grouped and sorted out and stuff. So work in progress, bear with us, we're getting there. Boo also mentioned they thought it was a shame that the lifetime TEL issuance will be reset. I think it's just the cleanest way of doing it, to be honest. The advantage of keeping the history would be that it would limit people's weekly issuance by requiring them to kind of stake more. So I guess we kind of have lost that to some extent, but I think that will also be countered by this additional cap we're introducing. So, Boo, if you want to kind of, if that answer doesn't suffice, we'd love to hear from you. Otherwise, I think overall it's still quite conservative in terms of net issuance, if that's what you're worried about.
I think one of the other things to mention too is that the original TANIP 1, right, was meant to be kind of that trial period to see how things went. We had 200 to 300 people participating, so kind of I get where Boo's coming from that perspective, but I think that'll solve itself in pretty short order, honestly, when the network gets rolling in with the start of this program. So
yeah, sounds good. Yeah, I think it is a cleaner solution, and just fairer for everyone to kind of start on a clean slate at the same time now. But yeah, happy to discuss more as well as we go. Nothing is written in stone at this point. So to answer Ty's first question, just to kind of whip through a quick example. Now, maybe this isn't the best way to kind of run through it because there are numbers and stuff involved. But as I say, we're planning to write this out and post it to the forum soon as well. So let's just rattle through it and then we'll see how we go, and feel free to interrupt me or we can discuss at the end. But here goes. So we will consider 3 users. So Alice, who refers both Bob and Charlie, and in this period they are paying, Alice is paying 50 tel in fees, Bob will pay 100 tel, and Charlie will pay 200 tel. So total fees, basically pointing back to Alice, are 350 tel. So we start as usual with the existing TANIP 1 script. So we'll suppose the total telex fees for this period are 1.4 million tel, give or take. Yeah. So Derek is showing it up on the screen now. So 1.4 million tel, and then the total period allocation, as before, is 3.2 million tel per week. So that's the amount that is being issued by the TAN Council to all of the stakers in the system. So then we figure out what Alice's fees are, kind of prorated. So this here is 350 tel, which is Alice and her referee's fees, out of a total of 1.4 million tel, multiplied by the weekly issuance will mean she's eligible for 800 tel. So consider that for now. Then we consider Alice's stake. So her time weighted average stake over the period is, let's say, 600 tel, and she's previously earned 250 tel tokens in rewards. So this is the value that will be zeroed out now when we redeploy everything. So that gives a 600 minus 250 is 350 tel cap. So that's the maximum. That's the amount of tel that she will receive in that period, basically. So just as a high level overview, Alice has paid 50 tel in fees, but has received 350. So she's making money, basically. And that is standard 10IP1 behavior. There's nothing new there. And now we move on to the bit that we want to introduce, which is just an additional cap, basically. So it's a final cap based on the user's fees paid. So it just means that the amount the user will earn is the minimum of what they've quote unquote earned, which is this value here, and what they've spent in fees. So in this case, Alice has earned 350 tel based on the original TANIP1 spec, but she only paid 50 tel in fees this week up here. Therefore, she's eligible for a full rebate of 50 tel. If she and her referees had earned less, or a fair bit less, she would not be eligible for the 350 tel in issuance. She'd be eligible for less, which means then in here, if the earned is less than the spent, she would have just earned the amount calculated in the end. If that makes sense to people. If it doesn't, I'm very happy to answer any questions. Please feel free to ask.
So essentially, it's just taking out the referee version multiplier, I guess you'd say, of the original, and just you're earning what you spend, right? You will never earn more necessarily than you spend.
Yeah. But the referee's contribution is still in there. So.
Right.
Yeah. Ty asks, but is the 350 not being cleaned out at the start of the new way? No, so the bit that's being cleared out by us redeploying the contracts, which is kind of the proposed implementation, is this 250 TEL tokens. So basically the way it works is there's a contract. I forget the name of the contract. I think it's like the TEL issuance registry or something, and that basically logs and keeps track of how users' earnings over all periods. So that's like a cumulative earnings value. So that's this value here, the 250. So in the first week of restarting this program, everyone will be at 0 here. So their previously earned tokens will all be zeroed out. If that answers your question, Ty.
And isn't the idea to make it so we can reuse the old scripts? That's why we're doing it this way versus building a whole new script. Just to make it easier for implementation purposes on a go-forward basis too.
Yeah, so basically, because we're just adding in this final cap, we only need to make changes to the off-chain script, which is fine. If we make changes to any on-chain logic, we'll need to re-audit it, which we'd rather avoid. So yeah, this way it allows us to move to a rebate, but it means we don't have to re-audit anything. So it's a bit cleaner in that sense. If that answers your question.
Yeah. Cody, I guess that's for Ty, but then Cody has his hand up too.
Go on, Cody.
Yeah. So quick, is my mic okay, by the way?
Yeah.
Good, man.
So maybe it's been a bit, but what was the cap like before? So was it the obviously before, I remember whenever first getting into the app, there wasn't a cap on what you can earn. So is there a cap as of right now?
So there was always a cap, which was this stake cap, which basically just said you need to stake more each week in order to keep earning, because otherwise you're basically, if you didn't stake more, your average stake would equal your previously earned rewards, and then your reward cap would be 0, basically.
Okay.
So-
Do we know how many stakers we have and roughly how much TEL is staked?
At the
we did have
elections, it was right around just under 4 billion staked. Numbers wise, it's right around. Last time I pulled it, which was last week or the week before, was a little over 35 to 3,800 total addresses.
Okay, that's a good bit of addresses. And 4 billion, you're saying. Do by any chance, and maybe we don't know this, but do we know how many people are claiming their rewards and then just dumping them or restaking them?
we haven't actually looked into that.
I have a script that I run through Dune that could pull it pretty easily. You're just looking at basically a time gate for the last matching, essentially increase in staked amount versus their last issuance. So it's something we could probably pull together pretty easily. But no, I haven't ran that personally, Leo. I don't know if you've ever looked at it.
No, I haven't.
Okay, yeah,
That's a good question. Yeah.
I think that'd be pretty good, before, getting votes and stuff like that all currently on it. I think it'd be nice to see, so then we can actually, back it and say, hey, for X reason, we are, we want to implement Y, essentially, because again, cut back on, mercenaries and things like that. But yeah, well, we could talk more on it offline, Derek, if, we can run that script you were saying.
Yeah, I mean it's and it's 3,500 might be a little high. So what my script I made one for Telcoin Hub that pulls total addresses that have stake tel. And that's how and then the last election numbers was right below 4 billion. I'm assuming there's probably less than that now staked. So I'm sure there was a stake when the election started, but that's I can run it again and just see where we're at.
Awesome, appreciate it, man.
Nice. Ty, all the old earnings would count if we weren't redeploying. So basically, they won't count. Everyone will be zeroed. The history of TANIP1 will be ditched, and we'll just start everything afresh. I think that's the neatest way, and should be the cleanest kind of thing. So, yeah.
I have a question, Leo.
Yep.
So the lifetime stake issuance, right? Your cap, is that calculated off of the essentially the old way, right? So like in this example, would it be calculated? Would my cap be 350? So I'd have to stake at least 350 to earn my 50. If what I'm asking makes sense.
Stake 350 to earn your 50.
Basically, the way that the lifetime
Yeah.
issuance cap was, right? It was made before. It was based off the old calculation, right? But now, since that old calculation is the lifetime cap, we'd have to adjust that. I'm assuming that as well, because we wouldn't want the cap to be off of the old referral process if we're not.
Yeah. Good point, actually. That is a very good point.
I think that might have been what Ty was saying, but if I'm reading that wrong, Ty, let me know.
Yeah, no. Yeah, good spot. We will have to adjust that a bit as well.
Yeah, we can look at that. Good call, Ty. Thank you.
Yeah, cheers, guys. Yeah, we'll figure that out.
Yeah, I can run those scripts and stuff, no problem. And I'll send that out to everybody just to take a look at.
Awesome. We've got some homework done.
I like it.
Yeah, nice. Good. Okay. Any other questions on this or anything else?
There was a question that got responded to on our post for the stream, and I answered it, but I'll answer it again. So, question in regards to BitGet specifically and that whole delisting process. I just to speak in generalities, that they changed in their requirements for liquidity and what they wanted from the association, and we felt it was best to deploy those resources elsewhere based on the low volume. That was kind of the statement that we put out on the X account. If there's more questions, you can DM a platform and council member. Isn't really the purview of this council per se, but I thought I'd respond at least and instruct where to give the answers to. So go ahead, Ty.
Yeah, sorry, I'm trying. I had to sort out my mic there. Yeah, okay. So if we're now saying that this process, this new calculation, will impact on the app stake and refer rewards, if that's what I'm understanding.
No, it won't. It's still separate.
Yeah, this is just be an airdrop like it was before.
Yeah,
essentially.
yeah, but does that not get added into your own app?
No.
Or is that just the I can't remember now, but I thought there
it's
was
been a minute, right?
tell earnings on the app. The point I'm making is if it does affect that somehow, then, and you were thinking of clearing something on the app out, then there is a kind of main net, because once the main net goes live, surely the whole app stuff is locked out.
Okay,
that
yeah,
is all in place.
right.
If there is a not somehow a knock-on effect, and it's still not clear in my mind, I have to read these examples. But if there is, then we have got a time limit on kind of implementing this or doing any reset, because once mainnet goes live with MNOs and all that stuff, then we don't have the same latitude to clean out historical totals.
Yeah. So now I kind of understand what Cody was asking or saying too. So one thing to note that stake and refer itself doesn't have a cap. That's just the straight percentage off of that's so there's no lifetime cap on that program. And correct me if I'm wrong there, Leo, right?
No, yeah, that's correct, and that's just a Telcoin run.
Right. So
yeah.
So I get what you're saying, Ty. I think the idea is like this is kind of a lead up to, I guess you would say. And the reason we want keeping at scale, like TANIP1 at scale works much better when the network's live, like we've kind of discussed in the findings.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like the idea, is that this is just to try to restart the engine a little bit, I guess you would say, and get things rolling from that aspect. But to your and Cody's point, like, the cap is only for this kind of program. It's not TANIP1 is just that straight percentage based on what you have staked. So that's a good point to bring up too. Hopefully that answers your question.
So is the total rewards claimed figure that you're showing in the app, is that not this cap that we're talking about?
No, that is not. That is only your and correct me if I'm wrong there. But that is only your TANIP1, or I'm sorry, your stake and refer.
Yeah, that's separate.
Claimant. Yep. And
they have
the airdrop. Right. Yep. Go ahead.
They have similar eligibility criteria, basically, which is why there's a lot of confusion, I think. But they are separate processes and initiatives.
So you keep a separate. Okay.
Yeah.
I seem
we
to
keep a separate tally.
Because it's been such a while.
Yeah, it's been a few months. There's that sheet.
What spreadsheet gave you a total figure, didn't it? And okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm getting the two caps confused in my own head, but I think I've got it right now. Thank you.
Right. Do you remember the spreadsheet that got sent out and it had kind of the weekly? That's what it was. Yeah, it's been a minute. So.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Okay. No, I understand. Yep. Okay. I'll go offline. Let you guys continue. Thank you.
Nice. Cheers, Ty. I'm just kind of looking at the example again, and I'm thinking about the potential issue with the amounts earned and saving those values, but I think it still works. I don't think we actually need to change anything there.
I'm looking at it too. I think you're right.
Yeah.
Look, we can run through some examples and just make sure offline and make sure we're good. Yeah.
We can.
Sorry, I'm on baby duty, guys. I apologize.
All good. We can do a bring your example along to the forum fun activity. So yeah, chuck some numbers at us and we'll see what we end up with. I think that's
a good idea.
It's a good way of handling that. But yeah, should all work, just because the amount you'll be earning is still factored in. there won't be like runaway requirements. So yeah.
I think Ty had
keep
asked a
an eye on-
question about how much further ahead on the budget we are, and
Yeah.
rough calculations is around 35 million tel for about 9 to 10 weeks. So is kind of the quote unquote
Solid.
bank, I guess I would
Yeah.
say.
Awesome. And I think we had like 4 million before that as well.
Right. Yep.
Just from throughout the year. So yeah. Yeah, cool. But we'll get more accurate numbers soon as well anyway. But thank you for the ballpark figure. Yeah, the Treasury Council might not be giving us as much funding next year. We'll see.
We had a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, that was good. They were very generous to us last year. So thank you to them. Yeah, lovely. Does anyone else have any more questions on this? Or on anything TAN related, actually? Yeah.
I said it in the other call, but I'm working on some developer seat stuff for. I have a one pager and then I have a deck that are both built off of the exact same Figma file that Josh and Khalil used for Telex.
Awesome.
So it matches the same. And I'll hopefully have that ready for you guys to review, for the TAN to review and everybody else here soon. So
Perfect.
I posted a version 1 up so you guys can go look at that in Slack, but
Nice.
not ready to go yet.
Excellent. Thank you very much, sir. Alrighty. So if no one else has any other questions, I think all that's left is to wish you all Merry Christmas and end of the year. It's been a great year working with you all, and a full calendar year of the TAN Council and all the councils for that matter. So thank you very much for staying tuned and joining us in this. It's been great, and hoping to keep the momentum next year. So yeah, that's all from me, and see you in the new year.
Same to you.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye, everyone.
Thanks, guys.